Everyone, give yourself a round of applause. Round one. We are not done. So, who here was a worker, a volunteer, worked for a candidate, volunteered for a candidate, poll greeted, worked downtown at the elections department, walked the streets and knocked the doors? Look around, you guys. This room is full of incredible volunteers, and I'm so proud. And we've got to keep that momentum. We've got a lot of unidentified voters, y'all, that we've got to start meeting and greeting. And this is our number one goal. Again, thank you all for voting. We have 2 elections coming up that we are not done with yet. We've got the school board, which is going to be on May 2nd. We start voting in just a very few days for that, the 20th of April. April 20th through the 28th, the school board elections. There's some trustees in 2, 6, and 8 school board trustees, important elections all around DeSoto. So please tune in, reach out to the party, look at the calendars, reach out to your precinct chairs, and vote. We're not done. Election primary runoffs, May 26th, early voting the 18th to the 22nd. We've got a lot of work to do between now and then. I'm so excited about it. Okay, one last thing and then we'll move on. Who attended the incredible county congressional conventions for Dallas County? It was a great event. I'm so glad. I really enjoyed being there. Was Dr. Reverend Frederick Haynes on fire or what? I cannot wait to see him in that seat. I can't wait to hear him doing that in Congress. I'm so excited by that. So that's something I'm so looking forward to. Have you signed up yet, though, to do the next step and go to the state convention? Who is going to the state convention in the room? Okay, we need more hands up. We need more people. We need this room. This is the representation that we need. It is our party, and at that convention is where we make it ours. And so I really want you all to think about going. It's June 25th through 27th. The party will have a bus, and it is a party, let me tell you. Okay, so no further ado. Again, thanking for everyone for all the elections. I'm going to have Roseanne. Yes. Hand off to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right. What a great group of people we have here tonight. And again, thank you to everyone for being here. So about a month ago, maybe even 6 weeks ago, all of us precinct chairs were on the edge of our seat, not with the latest Netflix series, but because Commissioner Sommerman walked us through all the ins and outs and all of the intrigue and all of the backstabbing associated with something as mundane as primary elections. So we knew as the feds, we wanted to have him here tonight. So just a few things about Commissioner Andy Sommerman, and I have permission to call him Andy. Oh, I feel so honored. But Commissioner Sommerman represents District 2, which includes our East Dallas neighborhoods of Santa Monica, Hollywood, and the M Streets. He is a longtime resident of Dallas County, and he's been a tireless champion for everything that makes our county government something that works for everyone. Our public health care system, quality, affordable childcare, affordable housing, roads and bridges, and everything that is an investment in our future. And most importantly for our program tonight, he is a fearless advocate of our right to vote and our ability to exercise that right without burden or barrier. He assisted, yes. He assisted the Dallas Democratic Party in the intense negotiations about polling location processes leading to our March primary and did a phenomenal job against, impudence, arrogance, and incompetence. So when he is not serving as county commissioner, and I was astonished at how that at the short number of years he has been county commissioner, because he has done a lot in that period of time. But when he's not doing that, he is one of the most experienced trial attorneys in town with scores of well-deserved awards and recognitions, including the one that impressed the bejeebers out of me, which is 2022 Litigator of the Year from the American Institute of Trial Lawyers. But throughout his career, he's always been an advocate for the every person in the courtroom. And on a personal note, Commissioner Sommerman has been an avid reader. He's an aspiring master chef. He is married to an extraordinary woman and has an adorable daughter. And he is also the proud parent of Einstein the cat. So please join me in giving a warm Feds welcome to Commissioner Andy Sommerman.
Let me try this.
This is for the mic.
Oh, so I got to use it? I'm better without a mic. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Andy Sommerman, Dallas County Commissioner, District 2, just as you heard me say. Thank you for inviting me. If you don't know, my name is Andy. It is not Tom. That's Tom over there. Yes, he and I have been confused as each other 107 times. Yes, we do count. If you don't know, Tom and I ran against each other. We ran against each other for this position, and while we were running against each other, we became friends. And, you know, when I decided to take the office and did enter, I asked him to be the chief of staff. Now, you may wonder how you can become friends as you run against each other, and the answer is, because we're Democrats. But it's been wonderful working with him. If you don't know, before I became a commissioner, I was an elections lawyer. This is one of my passions. I fought voter ID long ago when Texas first picked up voter ID, which, if you don't know, is a woman's issue. It is directly related to the fact that they change their names, usually, as tradition, when they get married or divorced. And so, as a result, we fought very hard against that voter ID issue. We have another one coming up in form of the SAVE Act. I was also involved in the redistricting litigation. You know, that which redistricted out Julie Johnson from her position and also redistricted the entire state. It was my firm, and in fact, it was my firm that took the lead on that litigation. We won at the trial court, lost in the Supreme Court, or actually they just put a pause on it, whatever that means. Okay, good, fine. So I've been fighting for elections all the time. And as we know, we just went through a chaotic primary. I mean, it was quite the chaos, okay? I can describe a little bit more about that if you like, but what I really want to do is talk about three things. First, the runoff that's coming up. Second, the SAVE Act. And finally, the scrubbing of the registers, okay? Well, so first I want to talk about the up-and-coming runoff. I thought, and in fact, if you had asked me 2 days ago whether I thought the runoff was going to be smooth and there wasn't going to be any problems, my answer would have been yes. Today, I am not so sure. And I'm going to tell you why. Over on the Republican side, the chair of the Republican Party, Colonel Allen West, is facing a no confidence vote, okay? Now, you know, if you have a European government, that what you do is you have your no confidence votes when you know you have the votes to be able to win them. I'm not sure he's that bright, okay? We know that that no confidence vote comes on April 20th. We know that the people who are leading the charge against him are those that want Election Day to be in precinct and by paper only. Yeah. And by the way, that is my opponent in the general election. Okay, his name is Barry Wernick, and he runs against me. And his platform is, I want Election Day only voting, no early voting. I want paper only, and I want it in precinct only. This is the three tenets upon which he runs against me, okay? And he's also leading that charge against Allen West. If they are successful, I worry that the Republicans will try and rescind their contract with the county and go back to in-precinct voting. Now, you know, we had this settled for some time. We, the county, have contracts with the Republicans that say that we get countywide voting throughout the election, and that included Election Day. If they try to rescind it, you can be assured of one thing: this guy's going to fight it like a son of a bitch. I mean, I am You know, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that that doesn't happen. Okay. You can't just rescind a contract. There's a thing called specific performance. I could go on and on about the law associated with it. We do know that during the primary itself, chaos did occur. How many of you were navigators? Anybody? Yeah, there you go. Good navigators. I have a question for these two navigators. How often did you give someone a text message as opposed to some other means of communicating where they needed to go? Was it about half the time? Uh-huh. Right. You were redirecting people, but how did you do it? By text message or some other means? Telephone. Okay, good. Text messaging. And you? Tell them. Okay, so you see the three differences here, right? And that's fine. Let me be clear. They were doing it right. Okay, all of that is absolutely correct. But the only stat that I have for you is this, that during the last primary, we had approximately 13,000 redirects by text message. Now, that's the only thing that I can count, okay? I couldn't count, for example, if they gave verbal instructions. And it was fine that they did so. Let me be clear. They did it right, okay? So what does that mean? I know for a fact that this was less than half of the redirects that we had. That means on election day, you had 30,000 people that were redirected in Dallas County. And let's point out that there are only two counties that had this problem, and it was Dallas County and it was Williamson County. And why was that? And the answer is because those are the hometowns of the two senatorial candidates that we had in the primary. Why would you want to do that if you're a Republican? How many of you have been to a restaurant over and over and over, thought they had good food, and then one day they had terrible food? Did you go back? No. Same thing with voting. Okay? You've voted well all these times, but then you had a bad experience. And when you had the bad experience, you may not want to go back. That is true in the psychology of voting altogether. And so as a result, the strategy was clear. It's called voter suppression. By the way, we can turn this little conversation that we're having into a drinking game if you like. Every time I say voter suppression, okay, but call your Uber now, okay? All right, very good. But that is what it was. It was clearly an intent to do voter suppression. And that was despite the fact these 30,000 plus people had to be redirected, despite the fact that the county spent $1 million, $1 million of your taxpayers' dollars, I might add, to try and inform people about where to go to vote. And 30,000 people didn't get the message, okay? Then we tried every form you could possibly imagine. There was a card that was sent out. We put it on TV. We used various social media platforms. Yes? Oh, I'll tell you all about that, okay? All right, let's talk about that. So now the navigators have a pad that is connected to the county's website to tell people where to go and vote, okay? And it worked. Those were correct, okay? But sometimes people went to the actual voting people, okay? Thank you, Tom. Went to the actual voting folks, okay? And when they went to the actual voting folks, they were connected to the state's website, which you would think would be correct and the same as the county's, and it was not. Now, how did that happen? Hell if I know, okay? Because the county sent the exact same damn information that we were handing out with regard to the navigator pads. We were able to figure it out. We gave them the information. We're the ones who sent them files that they acknowledged, that we have the receipts for, that they said that they got, that they said would be accurate, but they were not. And as a result, when you were navigated away from a voting location from a voter judge or a voter worker, you had a chance of being voted to the wrong location. Where were they sending them? They were sending them based upon precincts that were long ago. Old precincts. So, precinct, 2004 in their pad was not 2004 anymore. It's now 2008 because the precincts all had to change. Why did the precincts had to change? Because the bastards redistricted us. And so we had to change them. So then they screwed us the first time, and then they redirected us, and then they suppressed us. Take a drink. And then what they do is redirect the misdirect as a result of that. And now they want to do it again to us if the runoff comes. And this guy's going to fight it like a son of a bitch if it happens. All right, now I want to spend just a few minutes on the SAVAC. By the way, this is a conversation, not a lecture. Yes?
So
Yes.
How many votes do you think that costs us? I mean, I know you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know is the answer, but there are studies that indicate this. If you are redirected, you lose 90% of the people you redirect. Okay? Hey, and let me give you the best example of that is my wife. Okay, now listen, this is before I met her. Okay, what this story I'm about to tell you. She knows better now. Okay, but she thought she could vote anywhere many years ago. Okay, and she worked in Collin County, and she stopped by and said, "I'd like to vote," and they said, "You can't vote here. You live in Dallas County," and so she was redirected. And her position was, "I only had this amount of time to be able to do this in. I cannot do it again." And as a result, she said, "Well, I tried." And she felt good about herself that she had tried. You know what I mean? Those bastards made it hard for me. And so as a result, I couldn't vote. And so I quit. 90% of the time, according to studies, is the answer to your question. Okay? Now, do we know that in this instance? No, I don't. We weren't able to track the information, but I think that that's a pretty good guess as to where we are. Okay? Yes?
What's the legal path to fighting this version?
Okay. The best way to fight it is to fight them at every step of the way. Let me tell you an example of this. When they decided to go in precinct, okay, there's a way that you can amalgamate, put together various precincts so that you don't have to vote in every single precinct. You can vote in a group of them. Now, how do you do that? The answer is the statutes of the state of Texas give us direction as to how to do it. And it's like IKEA instructions, okay? They are very complicated, all right? And I might add to you that the Republicans in Dallas County violated those rules 72 times, okay? Just illegally amalgamated the precincts. We need to fight that. We needed to fight that up front and create legal mayhem for them that says, I'm sorry, you can't hold this election with the maps you have. We have to hold them to every rule that we can possibly hold them to. Now, with regard to the runoff, I think we can fight them as to whether we go in precinct or not because they already have a contract with the Dallas County that says the way that this election in the runoff is going to be run in a certain direction. And then we need legal help from our legislature to disconnect us from the Republicans. Republicans want paper only on election day only and only in precinct. Knock yourself out, sunshine, have a great time, okay? But we're going to have countywide voting is what we're going to have so that we can have people participate. We can poke them in the eye every once in a while. I will not admit or deny that I had a call with the state party chair that went something like this. Hey, if those bastards want to come back and do in-precinct voting for the runoff, how about we call up our friends in Comal County, which is 80% Republican, somewhere around there, 80% Republican, and the two Democrats that are there agree to do it in precinct and poke them right back in the eye. Yeah. Let them feel it a time or two like that. That's how we fight them. We fight them with guerrilla warfare. Yes. Good. No, we will have a runoff election. The question is, will we have it in the way that I think that we will? I think more likely than not, it's going to wind up either by hook or by crook or by legal way. It's going to be total county-wide vote where you want to vote inside the county. Okay?
You do know that there's a conversation out there that in November there's lots of Democrats that I hang out with who are worried that we won't have an election.
We will have an election, but it will not be based upon the rules that we have. They're going to try and do it otherwise, which brings me to my next 2 points, one of which is the SAVE Act, okay? Now, listen, I'm only going to spend a few minutes on the SAVE Act, and here's the reason why, is I don't think it passes, okay? And I think that they have the votes to actually pass the SAVE Act, but they can't get past the filibuster, all right? And so far, anyway, I am confident of that. How do I know that that's not going to happen? Is because, well, the poly market tells me that there's a 90% chance it fails, okay? And by the way, it's better than any poll I've ever met, all right? But still, nonetheless, no, seriously, I don't think the SAVE Act passes. I don't think it gets by. But let me give you the disaster if it does, okay? You are going to have to go with a passport, okay? All right, good. How many of you raise a hand with the number of fingers on it that you know that someone votes but doesn't have a passport? Raise your hand now. You know people, not yourself. You got 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. There's 10, 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay, you get the idea, right? How many votes did we just cut off, right? And the answer is, according to the Republican Party, 18% of Democratic voters don't vote. I think that's a low number, okay? But still, nonetheless, that's the fight they have to do. My best example is, again, my wife, who, by the way, votes very well right now, ever since she met me. But you know, she would have to do the following. First of all, she was born in China. She has to get her birth certificate. Who's reading it? Okay, all right, good, fine, fine, fine. Okay, then she's going to get her immigration papers because she is a citizen. Okay, good. But then she got married. Okay, after that, right? She married somebody else before me. By the way, I look good compared to him. Okay, but anyway. But you know, she married that guy. I like him too, by the way. I really do. I like that guy. But anyway, yeah, no, it was not Tom. but you know, she married that guy, right? And then the name changed, right? And then it changed to okay. How many documents is she going to need to be able to vote? Okay. All right. Let's say you don't have a passport. You need to vote, and you're going to bring your driver's license. Well, you better bring your birth certificate. Okay. Good. How many of you can lay your hands on your birth certificate real quick? Yeah, good for you all, okay? I have no idea where the hell mine is, okay? I'll have to ask my mother, and she's dead. I mean, you know, come on. All right, so, you know, that kind of gives you an idea of what the SAVE Act brings. But again, I don't think that happens. I think what does happen is a scrubbing of the registers, okay? I do believe that this happens, all right? There is a reason why they have asked, why the feds have asked for voting rolls. And why they have said, we will tell you who's on those rolls and who are not, okay? Because let's say that we go vote, all right, and that we are told, let's use my wife as an example, she is told, I'm sorry, you're not on the rolls. What does she do now, okay? She goes home, is what she does. But even she, I've told her this twice now, and it has in one ear and out the other so far, right? I guess I got to clean some more first. But anyway, I've told her, no, you have to stay and you have to put in a provisional ballot is what you have to do. But she, like 99% of the other people, don't even know to do it. All right. And by God, she's married to an election lawyer and she doesn't know to do it. All right. Because at the end of the day, what they'll find is, oh, the registers were scrubbed inappropriately. Well, how do we fix that? Well, we count the provisionals. Well, 99% of the people didn't even know to do the provisionals, okay? So the provisional, the register is the scariest thing to me in terms of the voter suppression and the voter change that is about to come. How do we fight that? And the answer is, I need each and every one of you to be vigilant. I need you to look at the register. I need you to look at it in 60 days, in 45 days, in 30 days. I need you to tell me if you have fallen off the register. Because if you've fallen off the register, that's the alarm, okay? That's the canary in the coal mine. That's the holy shit. Let's go, okay? We're going to have to get litigation on file and hope to God that the United States Supreme Court does the right thing, okay? That's where we're going with regard to scrubbed registers. And that scares the crap out of me. And so as a result, we need to fight it. We need to be vigilant about it. And when you see it, you need to call me. Okay, because I'm going to be the one that's going to put the army together to go fight that son of a bitch as hard as I can. 469-360-6078. Yes.
So, Andy, can you tell people how to go through that?
Sure. Yeah. You go online is the short answer. You can just look yourself up at the county website, at the state website, whatever you like. Okay, just say, you know, check to see if I am registered. Votes.org, I believe, is the name of the website. Okay. Say it again.
Vote411.org, the League of Women Voters site, and you can click on.
Did you say active?
Active. Yes, good. And it says active. That's right. Okay, good. Yes, ma'am.
So, preaching to the choir, because all these people vote.
Right.
All these people get turned away. They're going to figure it out. They're not going to just take the line down. They're going to press on. How do we get the word out to the millions, I would say, of Democrats who don't vote, who don't press on, who don't have this information, who don't know what to do? That is what our problem is.
I'm willing to fight that with as many dollars as I have, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to work. And the reason why is the example of what the county did just to try and avoid the chaos that occurred, okay? We had about a third of the people being redirected in different directions, okay? A third of the folks. And we had spent $1 million in Dallas County, more than any campaign in Dallas County. And I'm not talking about the statewide, but I'm talking about anybody who was running for county office. Okay, we spent more, and we still missed a third of the people who go out and vote. What the hell? Okay, so I don't think education is the key. I think what is the key is to fight the son of a bitches all the way through court every chance we get if they start dropping rules, if they start changing. Now, how am I going to know that the rules have changed? By your vigilance. Okay, so that's the answer and that's the key, unless you have another idea.
So with my job as precinct chair, be to pull my list where it's at right now.
Yes.
Then
Compare it.
every month compare it. And
Yes.
then when I see people drop off,
Yes.
get in touch with them.
That's right. Exactly so.
I said I spent most of my time listening. So.
All right, good. There you go. See, I love it when a man listens to me like that. Makes me feel really good. Yes.
Do we have evidence if it equally affected Republicans versus Democrats?
Well, sure. The answer is yes. On a percentage basis, it actually affected Republicans slightly more, is the answer. But hell, we were outvoting them 3-1. All right. So even if it was it affected 40% as opposed to 28% of the Democrats, who gives a damn? It killed us. You know what I mean? And who did it affect? Jasmine Crockett more than anybody else is the answer to that question. Okay. Yes. Yep. March to the polls. Yes.
And what I tell them is the first time they vote, to take their voter registration card with them, because it proves that they're registered.
Yes.
And number two, if you vote in every election, you will stay registered. Is that not true anymore?
Well, it has been true. If you vote, you get to stay on the register. But what is Donald Trump collecting these registrations for? Yeah, the answer is to wipe out anybody named Rodriguez. I mean, that's the answer. Okay, is to wipe out every Muslim off the rolls. Why? Because, well, they're not sympathetic. Look, we're going to war with them. And by the way, they vote Democrat 80-20. Okay? All right, good. Any other questions about this? Yes, ma'am.
Training for judges so that they actually do allow people to
Yes, yes. And suggest it. And to suggest the provisional ballot, which there's some things in the law about that, okay?
So are you allowed at an election facility to have a sign that says that if you're not
Not-
registered, you can ask for provisional ballot?
No, but you can stand outside the voting area and do it. Be a poll greeter and do it. Yeah, exactly. Yes, ma'am.
So do you think there is going to be a special session on election issues? Do you think
No.
we need to worry about risk campaign?
No.
Okay.
I don't think there's going to be a special session. I think what's going to happen is just a silent dropping of people off the register. They've already done that with mail-in ballots, if you haven't noticed. Supreme Court, I think, hasn't ruled yet, but will rule. I'm sorry, the mail-in ballot has to be in on Election Day, okay? And then Donald Trump is saying, well, it takes too long to mail those in. And, oh, my God, look, it's going to take 2 weeks to get your mail in. So we're going to kill the mail-in ballot by so doing it. What? Yeah, right, which he just did, even though he was in town at the time. Right. Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask, so with the registers that they pulled up, do those show partisan data, or is that just a raw number of names?
Well, the register is a raw number of names, but it's easy to compare it against who voted in each party. It's very easy. Okay, I could do it on my phone. All right, I could tell you where you voted and how you voted. Okay, in terms of R versus E, not who you voted for. Okay.
So they basically know if we're Democrats.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Not only do they know you're a Democrat, they know how often you're a Democrat. They know if you're a 1D, a 2D, or a 3D. A 3D is somebody who voted in the Democratic primary 3 times in the past. Those people vote, okay? 1Ds, not so much, okay? And then there's the thing called the rando. Those are the people who just show up and vote, every once in a while. I love them. Let's get them to vote some more. All right, good. Yes.
Can you walk through the mechanics of, let's say the Secretary of State's office, right, recognizes these Democrats, they want to purge it from the registers. What do you see from the county side and the election office side?
We see people, we cannot know just on the county side whether somebody is a valid registered voter or not. But we see people dropping off the rolls all the time, and it's natural. Let me tell you what I mean by that. People are moving in and out all the time, okay? People are getting married. People are getting divorced. The name drops off. The name drops on, okay? We see names all the time. So it's not unusual to see 1 million people drop off the rolls. It's not, okay? But if it's 1 million people and we know that they are on it because she's identified them, that they're supposed to be there, but that's what I need. That's the data I need, is from the vigilant people like yourselves, okay? All right, good. Any other questions? God bless you all. By the way, my name is Andy Sommerman, Dallas County Commissioner, District 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's very important information. So glad to hear. Yes.
I would like to say that Andy Sommerman is running for re-election in November and needs our vote.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm especially proud to be able to introduce our next speaker, which is a good friend of the Feds, a good friend of mine, Kendall Scudder. Kendall has actually been fighting for the Democratic Party since before he could vote, literally, seriously. He's been working tirelessly to bring us together across the state and to be a more connected party, one that shows up everywhere in every community. And we've seen him doing that work, and we're so proud of you to do that. We're especially proud that Kendall Scudder is our very first Feds, and we call him our own. Thank you so much. We're grateful to have you here today to share some information with us about Texas. Your heart is bigger than we know, and we know that you have it. You have a heart for us. We appreciate you so much. We're grateful to have you here. Let's give a good Feds welcome to Kendall Scudder, Texas Democratic Party Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Angela Guta. Hi, how are you? It's good to see you, friends. Thank you, County Commissioner Sommerman, for all of your hard work on the voter protection front. I have to tell you, one of the best lines of defense that we have is county government. And if we don't have strong voter protection warriors in county government, we have a real problem on our hands. And luckily here in Dallas County, we have the voter protection champion on the county commissioner's court. So thank you, Commissioner Sommerman, for all your work there. My county commissioner, Andy Sommerman, grateful for the opportunity to come and give an update. I was speaking to the team and they said, it's been a year since I've been chairman of the party and it was time for an update to the Feds. So I just wanted to come by and give you that update and talk a little bit about our coordinated campaign, Texas Together, that we launched. Before we do that, I want to give some context to folks who may not have heard the story, okay? So a little over a year ago, I was elected from the grassroots to be the chairman of the Texas Democratic Party. I won an 8-way race on the first ballot round, and not as a candidate picked by the consultants, not as a candidate picked by the elected officials, but as a candidate picked by the grassroots of the party. And to me, that was a really important thing because for years, this party has acted like if you locked a bunch of people in a room in Austin, they could buy their way out of this problem. And the truth is, if you've learned anything over the last few elections, it should be that that's just not the case. This party does not belong to those consultants. This party does not belong to elected officials. This party does not belong to the donor class. This party belongs to you, the grassroots of this party. So when I came in as chairman, I'll tell you, this has been the hardest year of my life. I knew it was going to be tough, but it has been, I'm the volunteer chairman, and one of the youngest in the country to hold that role, by the way. There's only 4 people there's 2 Gen Zers and 2 millennials, and all the rest of them are of a different age. When I'll tell you, do what? I'm just saying of a different age. No, here's why that's important, okay? I don't think that young people should have every single seat at the table. I think they should have some, right? And consistently in the way we operate our party, young people were just not given positions in leadership. Right now, as the chairman of the party, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but as the chairman of the party, I'm a member of the DNC now, which is weird. I have to go to a DNC meeting tomorrow, and I'm just annoyed that I have to do it. But it's a thing I have to do. But I'm one of 40 young members of the DNC when there's almost 600, right? And so, it's a strange dynamic. So anyways, I come in as chairman of the party, and as you can imagine, not everyone's thrilled. The grassroots is, but some of the fuddy-duddies were not thrilled that I became the chairman. Some farm kid out of East Texas rolled out of a barn and became the chairman. when I took over the party, it was approaching $600,000 in debt. $7,000 in the bank account. Had 25 people on the payroll. Had to make payroll by Friday. And they said, "Good luck." And you know, you go to people and ask them for help, and they cross their arms and say, "Well, you wanted to be chairman, buddy. Good luck." And so we've had to build a party from scratch. And I'm committed to doing it because, frankly, I don't care if those people feel that this party is their right. They broke their toy. They need to sit in the corner and think about what they've done. We are going to build a party that belongs to the grassroots, whether they like it or not. I'm proud to tell you that in a year, we've come a long way. By September, the party was debt-free. And today, or actually in the end of February, our party launched a $30 million coordinated campaign with funds secured. The largest coordinated campaign in the Texas Democratic Party's history. For the first time since 1972, we recruited a Democrat for every state and federal office in Texas. Because if you're a Republican in this state, I don't care where you live. I don't care how long you've held office. You're going to have to fight us for it. Fascists don't get a free pass in Texas anymore. In the last election, because we left seats uncontested, there were seats that Democrats won where there was no Democratic candidate on the ballot. It is an injustice to the people on the ground that have been doing the work. And as someone who was one of those down ballot candidates in 2018, in the most Republican district in Texas, whenever I stepped up to run, what the party told me was why. We overperformed that district. And when my district, it wasn't just Beto coattails. I got more votes than Beto in my district. It was down ballot coattails. The way we win this state is by having a player on every position in the field, by working their communities, by talking to people. If we aren't present in these communities, there's no reason that they're gonna vote for us. It's our own fault. So instead of spending our time explaining to people why they're wrong, we should spend our time looking in a mirror, owning up to mistakes of the past and making them right. And that's what we're in the process of building and doing. In January, we moved a special election Senate district, the furthest that any district in this country has been moved. We overperformed it by 31 points, flipping a seat that Donald Trump carried by 17 points to the Democrats. And it didn't happen on accident. We made 1.5 million phone calls into that district. We knocked on 30,000 doors. We sent 800,000 text messages into that district. And we talked to everyone. We talked to everyone, which I think is a really important point. We have not been organized enough as a state to be able to build that internal data infrastructure. So we've just talked to our choir when we're trying to pull out voters. I'm sorry, there's an electoral realignment right now. There are a lot of Republicans that are very unhappy with what they're seeing. Don't just take my word for it. Look at the results on January 31st of this year, okay? And I will also make one more point, bragging, before I move into the coordinated campaign, because I'm really proud of what we've done in a year. For the first time in over 20 years, Democrats outvoted Republicans in Texas. Even with voter suppression in one of our biggest counties in this state, where, as Commissioner Sommerman outlined, 30,000 people at least were turned away from voting. We still outvoted them in this state. We are building a 254 county strategy that leaves nobody behind, and that understands that sometimes it's more important to win elections than arguments. That we shouldn't be spending all of our time fighting each other. We've got to work on a team. Move in the same direction. Goal, winning elections. We can't continue to have a party that's built around fiefdoms, where you have a couple of people who are in charge in a couple of different areas. That system works really well for those people. But our failure to win these races has meant real consequences for real people. This is not a game. We have an obligation to deliver. The entire country is counting on us to meet this moment. And I know that Texas Democrats can meet that moment, as we have throughout modern history. We, Texas Democrats, delivered the New Deal to this country. Sam Rayburn delivered the New Deal. We brought clean water and electricity to communities that didn't have it, because we knew that investing in those communities that were left behind would mean that rural people were buying dishwashers and they were buying light bulbs. It rebounded the American economy and saved the world during World War II. It was brought to you by Texas Democrats. Texas Democrats gave us the Great Society, Medicare, Medicaid, expansions to Social Security. You don't get that without Texas Democrat Lyndon Johnson. We rose to an occasion and cut poverty in this country by 75%. The last balanced budget this country ever saw was brought to you by Texas Democrat Lloyd Benson. So don't let them call you a bunch of tax and spend liberals. Texas Democrats rose to that occasion once before. We can do it again. The country is standing at a pivotal moment right now, looking for Texas Democrats to deliver. And I do feel confident that we have a huge opportunity this year, that in November, while everybody's trying to figure out when results are coming in, that when the results come in Texas, that we can save this country this year when we elect Senator Tallarico. But it requires all of us working together, and that's where we get into the coordinated campaign. The coordinated campaign is called Texas Together. Some of you may have heard us launch and talk about it. TexasTogether2026.com is where you can go to sign up to participate in it. For the first time since 1982, we're going to operate a program where everyone is working in the same coordinated campaign. Instead of every county having their own, let's talk about how that could be a mistake. Do you think they have the manpower to work Lubbock? No. Did you know that Lubbock, Texas is bigger than Richmond, Virginia? Could you imagine a world where you're trying to put together a plan to flip Virginia and you don't even step in the door in Richmond? It wouldn't happen. There are 40 mid-sized cities in this state with over 100,000 people in it that we don't even walk in the door in. And without us jointly working in unison together, we don't have the manpower to cover places like San Angelo, Beaumont, Amarillo, Midland, Odessa. So, Arlington, right? It's important. It's true. It's a giant city. It's crucial that we are all in the same pot working together as a team. That's what this Texas Together program is. We have over 160 partners that have signed on to be a part of that initiative. Number two, one thing that we don't have in Texas that they have in other swing states is a research consortium. So it makes all of your research and polling cheaper. It's not a super sexy topic, but our candidates don't have the ability to do the polling necessary to be able to track their paid comms, to be able to track their canvassing work, to be able to be successful. And it's an expensive endeavor, is why it's never gotten off the ground. And we've now secured the funding to get that research consortium off the ground to make it cheaper for our candidates. And then third, this one doesn't make the consultants happy, is that we put out a public RFP with a transparent rubric where we graded people who bid in, and we selected vendors for the party that are going to treat Texas as one client. So instead of every single candidate having to pay their administrative costs, they're going to be all traded as one candidate. We're going to foot the bill for the administrative costs, and it's going to be your cost of operating lower. What if a campaign found out they could send texts for a penny a piece? That's the program that we've put together for our candidates. In order to do this type of work, it's been a huge initiative just to juggle the personalities and get everyone, moving together. But we're doing it. And it's because finally in Texas, people are ready. They're ready to rise to an occasion. They're tired of losing. Yes. And they're ready. That we see where this state's going. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I expect us to just run the board this year. It would be great. And let me tell you, I'm going to work every single day, Ms. Sommerman, to make sure we do. But I think it's like when we run these campaigns and we tell you we're going to flip the Texas House, we're going to win every single seat. It's just not being honest with our stakeholders, right? And it's also short-sighted. Our party needs to put a long-term plan together, right? So we're looking at 2032. Because after they draw the districts in the next election cycle, if we don't have Texas in play, Texas or North Carolina, you don't get a White House anymore, Democrats. That's how urgent it is that we have a long-range plan here. So we're focusing on the election in front of us. Don't get me wrong. But this is about long-term investments in data infrastructure, in voter registration, in turnout, and in voter protection. And I'll give you a number that wasn't called out. If people are having problems voting, 844-TX-VOTES is the Texas Democratic Party's voter protection hotline that rang off the walls in March, right? We have volunteers and attorneys that are staffing that to make sure that people who call into it are able to cast their ballots. Lots of things that the party does that people don't even know we do, right? They don't know that we run the entire data infrastructure for the whole state for every candidate. This year, we're going to be able to make meaningful investments in that program. People don't know we run our voter protection program. They don't know all the county services. They don't even know that the party runs the election. I mean, that was really what the crux of this problem was that we have to run these elections with the Republicans. We're one of the only states that do it that way. It's a Jim Crow holdover. We can talk about it at some point if you want me to go into detail over it. But basically, when Democrats were not the good guys, they were fighting to be able to exclude people from our primaries. And when the court said they couldn't do it, they came back to Texas and privatized our primaries so they could. And those laws are still in the books. That's why I'm the primary administrator, not the Secretary of State. But we have to contract with them in order to get it done. So it's just a real mess. But we have to run that whole system. We have to run all these conventions, like the state convention that we're having in Corpus Christi. So anybody here going to the state convention in Corpus Christi? So to tell you, I know it sounds like a thing that only nerds do, but it's really fun. It's really fun. And this convention is going to be very different than conventions we've done in the past. Instead of doing a really stuffy kickoff in a hotel ballroom, we're doing a Tejano music mega concert featuring Bobby Polito, which is going to be tons of fun. We have lots of big national speakers that we're going to be rolling out because we actually discovered that we're on track to make this the largest Democratic convention in the country, bigger than the DNC's. And so you have until April 13th to get on your county rosters to be a delegate to that. You should reach out to your county party if you do want to go to Corpus Christi. You don't have to know everything that's happening. Your first convention, you're not going to know what's happening, okay? But it is a really fun experience to be able to go, and you get to meet a lot of cool people. So, been a big year in the Scudder household, okay? I don't think I'd be able to keep doing it every day if we weren't seeing huge visible results. And of course, we'd love to see it move even more, but it's always a question of kind of resourcing and what we're able to get accomplished with what we have. But I think that we are on track to make this one of the greatest years the Texas Democrats have seen since the mega coordinated in '82. And if you don't remember that year, it's a year that lives in infamy for Texas Democratic dorks. It's the year that Lloyd Benson, Mark White, Ann Richards, Jim Hightower, Gary Morrow were all on a slate together and running around the state. We need to replicate it. We're trying to make sure it happens again. But I'm grateful every day to be able to lead the party at this pivotal moment. I love this party. It has given me and my family everything that we have. It's not just to me about an institution. We have to remember who we are and why we do what we do. My granddaddy was born alone into a wash bucket with nobody in the room but his mama on a farm that only had clean water and electricity because of Franklin Roosevelt, the New Deal, and the Democratic Party. And he walked to school on cattle pads, alternating the days he would go with his brothers because they shared a single pair of boots. Went to schools that were mandated for the first time by Democrats. While Republicans kicked and screamed and called it socialism, he became the first person in our family that could read or write. And when the droughts hit East Texas in '59, my family lost everything. We depended on programs of the Great Society, like the Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, programs that had huge reductions in poverty and saved our family from absolute destruction. And when I was 12 years old, Republicans were writing bills to take kids with same-sex parents out of our homes and put us in foster care. And it was the Democratic Party that stood up for my family when everyone else was casting us aside. It wasn't politically popular to do it, but they are the ones who stood up for us. I owe everything to this party. And it's a great honor to have an opportunity to lead it at such a pivotal moment. I hope you know I'm giving it everything I got every day. And if we don't do it this year, it's not going to be because we weren't trying. But I do think that this is a year that something special is happening, and we can all do it on a team together. So you got your QR codes. You can sign up to be a volunteer on the Texas Together campaign. I of course give money. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. I may have already told y'all this story. I don't remember. But when I came in as chairman, how many people do you think gave monthly to the Texas Democratic Party? Now, I'll remind you, 6 million people voted for Joe Biden. So give a realistic answer. 6 million people voted for Joe Biden. How many people do you think were given monthly to the party? 5,000, 23,000 are the numbers I'm hearing. It was 1,500. And so, but the reality is, it's because the party lost the trust of its grassroots, right? And it's my responsibility to earn that back from people. And you may not be there yet, and that's fine. My job is to work my butt off every day so you see at the party's something worth investing in and voting and supporting. And so, hope that we're able to get there. Happy to answer any questions that anybody has, but I think I've gone on for a bit. Hi, Janet. How are you? What can I do for you? Yes, Janet. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, sir. Those buses are run usually by your county party, and I hear that there's a caravan of brewing. So I would reach out to your county party on what the details for that are going to be, because I got 254 of them. I don't know all of them. But I believe that North Texas has one, and we're all coordinating with where you get dropped off, and it's going to be really fun. The conventions of the past have just kind of sucked, guys. And I'm trying, if we're going to spend that kind of money on an event, it might as well be something you enjoy. And it might as well be something that we leave excited and trained and ready to go. So it's going to be a different vibe than conventions you've seen in the past. Yes, Mr. Kutak. I just love these softballs. They would go to texasdemocrats.org. Texasdemocrats.org is where you can go to get that accomplished. There is an ActBlue link at texasdemocrats.org. Yes. Now enough of the financial softballs. What? Yes, John.
Yes, I you have said before, and I agree that for sure, the too long our party in Texas has focused on winning arguments and not on winning elections. I think that's key. But when you say that, you're talking about quadrant 10. I can see you doing it geographically. But how do you do that in terms of values, or how far do you go in terms of values? What I'm referring to is, if you look at the Republican Party, what they did, and I know a lot of Republicans were very decent people. When I say that, well, how do you accept the white supremacists? How do you accept the racists? And they said, well, yes, and how do you accept these people? And your point of it, how does this work? And they say to me, well, we accept them because they wear the red hat, number one, they vote with us, number two, and number three, how are we going to rehabilitate them? Because we're born again, and we are going to rehabilitate them if we don't talk to them. Yeah. So when you talk about broadening the tent, I get the geographic aspect. You want to find line between broadening that tent and accepting the white supremacists in terms of values and the racists in terms of values, and not compromising those values.
That's right.
Down the road, they won the elections. You did not.
Yeah, so let me first start by talking about what you were referring to with geographical expansion, and then I'll get into the second part of that. Another piece that I didn't have a chance to brag about is that we have decentralized the party, so it no longer only offices in Austin. We now have 5 offices across Texas. We have offices in DFW, Austin, Houston, Amarillo, and Eagle Pass now. And we're on track to have 12 offices by June around the state of Texas. So that's what he's referring to when he says we've geographically expanded the party. I think it's important for the party to be present around the state. Here's the line that I draw. The line that I draw is as long as you respect everyone at the table, you're allowed a seat at it. Okay? And so right now, it's no secret that I was elected from the progressive wing of the party. But as the chairman, I am from the Democratic wing of the Democratic Party. You win elections through addition, not subtraction. But I also was raised in an era where you could punch a Nazi in the face and not catch charges. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, as long as you respect everyone sitting at the table, I welcome you to sit at it with us. I don't welcome people to the table who want to throw members of our coalition under a bus. Because to me, that's not how you operate a coalition party. We have to all have each other's backs. I remember 2004, whenever Democrats lost and they thought the solution was to take my family out of the platform. Didn't feel great. And there were people within the party that fought back against that. I don't think that it's ever a solution to scapegoat folks. So as long as and that means that here in Texas, we have Congressman Henry Cuellar and we have Congressman Greg Casar. And you can moan at Henry Cuellar you want to. He's a Democratic congressman from a Trump plus 15 district, right? And right now we're in a position where we need as many D's as we can. That's my job, is to help get those elected. So as long as you're respecting people at the table, I want you at it because I'm trying to save democracy. Yeah. Yeah, how do we bring back Latinos that had started voting? Well, I'll tell you, the what? I'm sorry? Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I think the political climate is aiding us quite a bit. There are lots of counties there are 66 counties in Texas where the majority population is Hispanic. If you track all of those through the primary election, astronomical turnout, okay? So I don't want to take credit for some of that because a lot of it, I think, is as a demographic, they certainly said that to Donald Trump, we're the show me demographic. You say you're going to make prices lower, show me, right? You say you're going to make my life easier, show me. And he's damn sure showed them that that's not what he's going to do. But in addition to that, has lobbed attacks on the communities to a point where we had counties in Texas where the primary voting numbers surpassed the general election voting numbers in a presidential year, okay? I attribute Democrats outvoting Republicans with the surge in Latino voters, okay? You can't take those votes for granted. And that, to me, the field piece is really important. There were precincts in Webb County, Texas, where in a presidential year, the vote turnout was 13%. If you take the 9,700 blah, blah, blah precincts in Texas, you sort them by turnout, the lowest turnout ones are all blue and predominantly Hispanic, okay? So I think, number one, field work in those communities are really important. They're often neglected because we prioritize what we would consider low propensity. This time, we're targeting the entire electorate because we're going to have the bandwidth to do it, okay? And so, but we need lots of Spanish language volunteers to accomplish that. But I think that's number one. Number two, real meaningful investments in constituency media. In Texas, we don't prioritize Hispanic and Spanish language media from the Democratic side because we haven't had the resources to do it. It's been a resource question. Republicans have been inundating it. And so what I'm trying to raise now on the coordinated, we've raised the field money. I'm trying to raise the comms money. So what people are giving to now is whether or not Democrats are going to be on Spanish language radio, whether we're going to be on Spanish language TV, whether we're going to be on Black radio and Black TV and Black outlets. That constituency stuff is really important in a coalition party, in my opinion, and it's been neglected. So I think robust field and investments where people are actually receiving their media are really important. Third point that I'll make, because I can always go on tirades on this subject, is that we focus a lot on the influencer base, but I think that we as a party can start creating in the influencer space. We should be mapping out where we have them in Texas and where we don't, and also in Spanish language. So when I've had to rebuild every department in the party from the ground up. And one of those departments is the comms department, which you're about to see some big changes coming that way. We just hired our new comms director. His name's Juan Carlos Penzon. He was the national news director out of Washington, D.C. for Univision. He has 8 Emmy Awards for his journalism sitting on his shelf. And I went up to him and begged him and pleaded him to not let us pay him what he's worth and come and save democracy. And he did it. We just hired an executive, and I think that's going to do a lot for creating a bilingual comms department. The new executive director that I hired was Terry Burke. For 13 years, she led the ACLU of Texas during the child separation policy. She was the person on the front lines reuniting those families with their kiddos. Intimately familiar with the border region in Texas. 30 years administrators, 2 Pulitzer Prizes on her shelf for running newsrooms. She's run newspapers in Abilene. She worked for the Dallas Morning News. She's worked all in lots of different places around the state. So I think we're going to a different caliber in our staffing. Sustainability on that, I'm not sure. Right now, I think everybody's giving it everything they can to save the country. But, we're just trying to build a party that is elevated beyond what people have seen in the past. So, and I think that our staffing is really representative of that. I'm just really good at begging. Okay, I'll try to keep my answers a lot quicker so I can get through more. So I'm sorry. And let me start here.
Kendall, what are the opportunities for our young Democrats at the state convention?
Well, one could run for chair.
Corpus is like college Democrats.
Yeah.
Democrats.
We're actually...
It is a hard place to get a place to stay. And so are we doing anything for them? I know that the state Republican Party is promoting all of these subsidized rooms or low-cost rooms.
Well, they have to do that because they did it in Houston in the middle of FIFA, and their rooms are $2,000 a night. So also they have a governor that has $110 million in his bank account, right? I don't have resources to subsidize everybody's hotel rooms, but we are syncing our convention up with the Texas College Democrats convention. So they're going to happen at the same time, so that they only have to do 1 trip instead of 2. And we're going to have lots of good kind of like volunteer work where we're integrating them in with what we're doing. I'm obviously a huge advocate for putting more young people in leaderships and in the workings of our party. I just, I don't have the money to pay everybody's hotel rooms, but we're doing the best we can to try to help encourage people to be active and involved in it.
In plans by the party for election day in November to help price out of the way and not make people afraid to go to the polls.
Yeah, so there won't be, or I would say there shouldn't be, ICE at the polls in Texas. It is illegal in Texas. It's another one of those Jim Crow laws that are still on the books where they didn't want the feds at the polls whenever they were having election oversight for doing things bad. Well, that's still on the books here. And so the feds aren't allowed to put polls or put agents at the polls here in Texas. And if they do, we're going to sue the shit out of them.
Yeah.
So,
So I could give money on the QR code, but when I went to the website, texastogether.com, it's not really working yet. It says to coming soon or something.
it shouldn't.
No, I
TexasTogether2026.com. TexasTogether2026.com.
You went to a swinger site.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You already touched on the amazing people that are starting to work today. I've been able to watch some of them, and I'm like, oh my God, and they're hiring like crazy.
Yeah, we hired 5 people this week. Yeah.
They're wonderful, but they are all very dedicated, and they're really young too.
Yeah.
They've worked on tons of campaigns, and you already below Terry, and there's even more.
Yeah, I always, the struggle with hiring staff is always keeping them paid and keeping them, I want to run a 24 24 hours, 7 day a week, 365 party, even when we aren't in elections, right? And that's where that sustaining donor piece comes in. But I always joke with all of them. I'm technically the boss in the office, but I'm the lowest paid person in the office. I'm a 16 to 18 hour a day volunteer. But I think we're building a really great team of people that are going to be working around the clock. I know that they're working around the clock because whenever I reach out to them, they always get back to me very quickly. So I think we're getting there. So, okay. Grateful to all of you, not just for listening to me drone on about being chairman, but also for the work that you're doing on the ground. This party is you. You are the party. It belongs to you. We take orders from you. That's why things like this convention are as important as they are. We win this election when we understand that these elections are bottom up, not top down. And if there's anything that we at the party can do to be helpful to the feds in your organizing work, that I hope is within the Texas Together 2026 campaign, know that we're here to do that. All of us, we're going to be the ones that are saving it. And I feel really good being on a team with you guys. So thanks for letting me do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kendall. Thank you so much. And I want to thank Kendall Scudder, the chair of the party. I want to also thank County Commissioner Andy Sommerman also. With these two guys on our side, these two wonderful men, I think we can do it. I think we can really make a difference. And I know I'm committed to trying to make sure that we have some election integrity. And so I want everybody to take note that we can all do something. There is a role for all of us. And it is going to take all of us. Like Kendall was saying, this is not normal time. So I want us to all find something that we're going to do. I think that that's our big call to action. Our first call to action is do that QR code and find out what you can do. Can you volunteer? On the other side of the QR code is our Fed's membership. We really want you to join and become a member. We don't have a paid membership. It's free. We have a great newsletter. If you're not receiving it, it's joy and laughter and sarcasm in your mailbox. Thanks to Trisha and Sam. It is a glorious thing. You have to sign up and join to do it. Go to our LinkedIn page, see all of our things that we have. We have elections coming up. We will be following up on that. I gave you those dates earlier. Trying to think what all the other things we need to cover. Pizza. It's not free. We would love a donation. We would really appreciate it. Yeah. Candidates, yes. We have a couple here that are in runoffs, I think, that wanted to say just hello very quickly. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Such a big part of being a Fed is that we get to meet our candidates because it's so important.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. So first of all, I just want to say I was a part of the class of 2006. And the excitement in 2006 is the same feeling that I feel here today. The excitement to go forward in 2026 and turn the entire state of Texas blue is palpable here. So thanks to Commissioner Sommerman, thanks to Kendall Scudder, thank you so much for all that you guys do for us. Because we are low down on the ballot. And so we are the people who, takes a lot of work to get all of us elected. Yeah. So I'm Peggy Hoffman. I'm currently the judge of County Criminal Court number 9. I was part of that class of 2006 when we did turn Dallas County blue and all the Democrats became judges. And I decided to retire this year after 20 years of being on the bench. However, Judge White, Ernie White, who's also part of the class of 2006, he's been the judge of the 194th, he's retiring. And I decided to jump in the race for his bench. So there were 3 of us in the primary. I made it to the runoff. It's May 26th. It's a felony bench. Just real briefly about myself, I'm board certified in criminal law. I've spent 33 years trying cases in criminal law. For 20 years, I've been a misdemeanor judge. I started a prostitution divert court to help people get out of the criminal justice system. But for 13 years before I was a misdemeanor judge, I spent trying the serious felony cases that this court hears. So I tried the homicides, the sexual assault cases, the serious drug cases. And been endorsed by numerous groups. I went to Bishop Owens High School. I'm an East Dallas girl. I lived in Hollywood Heights. I live in Highlands now. So it's countywide. So so my bench is the 190. One I'm running for is 194th Judicial District Court, but it's countywide, and it hears felony cases. And so yes, Peggy Hoffman. Don't confuse me with Martin Hoffman. He's a civil judge. Very good friends, not related. But so the election date is May 26th, and vote early, May 18th and May 22nd, and election day is May 26th. So thank you all for your support.
Thank you. Do we have any other candidates in the room? Hey, everybody.
Well, I have to say, this place has a place near and dear to my heart because it was in 2017. I came here with my good friend Bill Peterson and got signatures to get on the ballot. I met Kendall that night, got on the ballot for the 2018 election. Yeah, got elected to the 5th District Court of Appeals. So thank you. Did that for 6 years. It didn't work out last time, but we're coming for him this time. I ran for an open seat. Bonnie Goldstein's one of the awesome judges on that court, decided not to run again. So I'm running in her seat. I don't have a runoff. I'm going straight to the general election. And so, but I'm going to take off my candidate hat for a minute and talk to you as a lawyer. Because a lot of this stuff that's going on statewide is really, really scary. And this t-shirt really speaks to me because I have a lot of rage right now. And it's on the part of my clients. I represent university professors and school teachers mainly. And one of my, I got a call today from a physics professor at UT who's Muslim, and he had a sign outside of his office door that said, "Immigrant students are welcome here. This is a safe space." He was told to take that sign down back in the fall. And they told him it was because it violated SB 4, which is something that was passed in 2017 by Abbott that bars sanctuary cities. All right? How crazy is that? It's asinine. This is a professor's office. This isn't a city, right? It's bullshit. But anyway, they are purging our universities of people that think like us. Okay? It's Abbott. He appoints all the board of regents at all these state universities. They're hiring the presidents, and they're getting rid of left-leaning professors because they're trying to indoctrinate the next generation of Texans. So this has nothing to do with my race. But there's a race on this ballot that's extremely important that could stop, that I could put an end to this nonsense right now. That's Abbott's race. Okay? Right? Oh, I'm serious. You got to get out there. It's do or die time. Yeah, Tallarico, amazing. But we've got to remember Gina Hinojosa too. So, all right, and that's why I'm putting off my candidate hat right now. I'm talking to you as a lawyer and an advocate who represents union members. We've got to get out there, y'all. Yes, all right, thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate all of the motivational and inspiration. I know I need it. Just being in this room with all of you is so, it fills my cup. I hope it fills all of yours. Yes?
So when is our next meeting?
Our next meeting is in May on the first Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo, and we will have tacos. And I even we have a couple funny taco hats we might be wearing. So for our taco president. So, yes, sir, in the back. Come on up.
So, Addison, I am James Truitt. And Addison and the cities of Addison and both Park cities, University Park and Highland Park, have all voted to put it on their ballots in May to pull out of DART. If they do, I mean, it'll be devastating for the whole system. That's a lot of funding just leaving. They'd have to decrease frequency. There would be bus lines cut. It would just be devastating for all over Dallas. So we are hosting block walks in the Park cities at 3 p.m. on this Saturday. And then in Addison on Saturday at 11:30 p.m. You can go to the Dallas Area Transit Alliance website, and it has a whole calendar of those block walks, and we're doing it right up until the elections. And it's a really good thing to do. Like voters, when we talk to them, like, and really across party lines, they've been very supportive of DART. Like, they don't want to leave DART. They're mad that like public transit is under attack. So but yeah, just please go to the Dallas Area Transit Alliance, look up those dates, and it would be really nice to have more people out there block walking, talking to neighbors, and just telling them to protect DART. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. We're going to all be getting in good shape. We got a lot of walking and knocking to do because we've got a lot of voters to ID and a lot of issues to do. So I hope we're all getting ready for it. I need to lose a few pounds. It's always a good season to do that. Thank you guys again. I think that's going to wrap it up. I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful for our wonderful speakers. And let's just keep doing the work. Let's get shit done, y'all.